live as fuck. It is the Sons of Honarchy podcast. We are back on the northwest side of Chicago live. It's your host, Steve-O at Drunk Shy Sox Fan, joined by...
And Hot Take Tommy. And that means that we don't have Carrie. Sorry, I couldn't clap back at you in the live moments when you were insulting all the players that I love. But on this episode of the Sons of Honarchy podcast, we've got a lot to run down. Of course, we've got Minoso minutes, and I think we all know where that's leading. We also have a little fun at the end, so stay tuned. All of this brought to you by
just us. So make sure you rate, subscribe, review to wherever you listen to podcasts. In addition to that, we are also live on YouTube every single week over the weekend. You know, for those of you that are working for the weekend, we're your podcast, baby. Make sure you tune into us. We're trying to squeeze in today before the Sunday Soak. I think the Sunday Soak's happening, but I also didn't see them advertise it today.
Oh, yeah,
so
you'd think it would be happening.
We might just be, the replacement.
Well, it could have been Beef's lackluster apology to My Sox Summer that there's now a beef, I'm assuming. So
yes. Well, as Tommy mentioned, we're gonna have bones to pick today.
There's another apology that didn't
should
go
happen.
very well.
But anyway, Tom, we were joined by Carrie last week. How was your week this past week?
Well,
where have you been? Why were you not on the air with me?
I went to Mexico, fucking had a blast. Absolutely enjoyed myself. I was out at an all-inclusive restaurant, not just a restaurant, hotel at Puerto Vallarta on the Pacific Coast. Highly recommend. It was fucking phenomenal. Also recommend the Pacific Coast because you get the sunsets instead of the sunrises on the Gulf Coast of Mexico.
You said the Pacificos? The Pacificos were delicious?
The Pacificos were also delicious. They taste the same in Mexico as they taste here, FYI, because they're distilled and bottled there. So it was really good.
You distill beer?
I don't know. You make it. You craft. They're crafted there. Whatever, man. But it was fucking phenomenal. Sunsets, gorgeous, everything phenomenal. 80 degrees feels totally different there. It was actually like crisp and just fucking, I can't say anything else besides it was gorgeous. Everybody should go. I also caught a wedding there. You know, destination weddings, a lot of people have different opinions about whether or not they like those, but I enjoyed myself. I really did.
It's true. Really, the only thing you missed out was that crazy walk-off game on Saturday against the Yankees. So,
which would have been, I mean, like, especially it was poetic, right? Like you had the 100%. Tim Anderson bobblehead giveaway from a walk-off, like celebrating a walk-off against the Yankees, and who else scores the run?
The game-winning run.
Like, except for Tim Anderson.
Perfect. On his bobblehead day.
Amazing.
Course, so.
Absolutely amazing.
It was kind of it better. It was kind of like the silver lining to that awful 4-game set against the Yankees. And the White Sox are not on a great start right now against the Yankees.
Being under 500 in the season isn't a good start.
They are 1-4 this year against the Yankees so far. You know what? We're already hopping into it, Tom. Yeah. Should we talk White Sox baseball?
We should talk White Sox baseball, I think.
Well, I mean, so what's hot with the White Sox right now, Tom?
Well, there's two guys who are good. I'll throw in three. We'll say three. Okay. But it's Tim Anderson leading the MLB in multi-hit games with 17. That's pretty good. Pretty fucking good.
Right.
And Luis Robert, he really came out in that Kansas City Royals series. Y'all saw it. 5 games. He was on fire. Gotta love it. That's 2. The third guy that I think is good is Johnny Cueto, baby. Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Johnny
you are.
Cueto.
Of
and
course
he's on the mound today. He's on the mound today.
You had to hype up your guy, Johnny Cueto.
You know he's about to be dealing, man.
The shimmy, baby.
Excited.
I mean, here's the thing, too. I mean, guys like Yohan Moncada, he's started off hot, and now he's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yasmani's still getting it together. Jose is kind of
really
getting
good
it together.
Jose's really good.
Getting it together a little bit.
Just kiss up to the man.
Like, AJ Pollock's had some good at bats. I'll tell you what, the Sox are not hot right now.
No.
Period. End of discussion. I know they took 3 out of 5 in Kansas City. That's expected. You should absolutely take 3 out of 5 from a shitty ball club.
That is the low bar. Like, you have to win the series. You probably should have. You could have swept 5 games and really made a statement, but
exactly. And here's the thing: I'd be content with 4 out of 5 in Kansas City. To win 4 out of 5 games is a big deal.
That's
honestly
good
to win 3
anybody.
out of 5 is good too. But at the same time, you're playing Kansas City, and it is a garbage ball club that is in this weird in between stage between we have some rebuilding pieces, but we're
Mhm.
also trying to patch veterans in at the same time.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to see 4 out of 5. My big ups, the thing that makes me most upset about that series is one of those double headers. They come back in the night slot and they score one fucking run.
Yeah.
Right? One run.
Well, they put up a garbage lineup. That's like the quintessential getaway day lineup, right? That's we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll talk about lineups later, but I still want to fucking fire Frank Menachino into the goddamn sun.
Yeah.
Like, never to be seen again. And, I had a tweet, and I got to credit my guy, Alex Root, for telling me about this, but he told me about actually to go quote tweet James Fox on this, because James Fox was giving Frank Menachino, trying to defend him a little bit in a sense, and that's fine. If he is a major league coach, you can't put everything on coaching.
Yes.
I've always taken that mentality. You can't say that coaching is absolutely everything, because ultimately the guys go out there and play, right? But walk percentages, okay? This has been my biggest frustration with this team is the plate approach, right? I mean, you go out there. I mean, DJ LeMahieu's first at bat yesterday against the White Sox. He goes up there and he has an 11 or 12 pitch at bat, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not expecting Tim Anderson to be that guy, because Tim Anderson does what he does and he does it well.
Right.
But I need to see those at bats come out of guys like AJ Pollock.
Exactly.
Guys like Jose Abreu.
Yes.
Guys who Yasmani Grandal, vets on this team, right? Who are good at doing that, who are capable of doing that and need to do that in order to be successful. So walk percentages of Frank Menachino coached teams, hitting coach teams, right? Outside of 2021, where they had the fourth highest walk rate 1 year, right? The other teams, 11th, 30th, 26th, 24th, 24th, and 24th in the league. It's atrocious. It's terrible. I also don't know if my mic is being picked up at all, or if any of our mics are being picked up. I hope so.
Well, regardless, like, you're looking at a team that actually succeeded in that department, and then over the course of one offseason, then you're having a shitstorm. And there's only the one guy to blame is Frank. And I agree with you, shockingly enough, that, you can't take one guy or one team and expect them to tank this dramatically in that specific department, unless if it's a philosophy that's being given. And you hit the nail on the head when you said TA can do that, but TA is an anomaly. So it's like, you're not going to be able to give TA's approach to everybody and expect that to work. It won't. It just won't. So it's fucking, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's frustrating. I'm not as much on the fire Frank Menachino train as you are, because it's like, look, the guys got to do what they got to do. And I appreciate an aggressive approach, but what are you going to do?
Exactly. So beyond that, obviously my frustrations with the hitting on this team go above and beyond, and I'm praying that these veterans hold on, right? And they actually break through. Seeing a little bit of life from a lot of guys, like I said. So I'm semi-hopeful,
I'm just still mad about what you said last week about Jose Abreu.
I'm
still mad, dude.
Go ahead. Do you want to roast me? Go for it.
Well, look, you every single time you smack talk this man, he gets out of a rut. Honestly, I should thank you. But I was like listening to the podcast on a delay after coming back. And I swear to God, as I was listening to it, I get a notification. Jose Abreu hits a 3-run home run. And I was like, that's it. Fuck you, Steve. Like there's like, you just, and it was the hypocrisy of you sitting there and being like, yeah, I'm not worried about AJ Pollock. His track record says every year he heats up late. But
you
this
really
Jose Abreu guy.
You really just want to hate on AJ Pollock.
That's what it is. Look, like the guy. Okay, so what? Think about it this way. They both have, AJ Pollock and Jose Abreu both have, histories of heating up later in the season. That is, it's on the back of their baseball card. Go to their BREF. It's clear as day. Later months, they're better. Now, how many games has Jose Abreu averaged per season over the course of his career? It's upwards of like 140, 150, especially if you take out that one injury-ridden season, 2018, I want to say. Anyway, but then you look at AJ Pollock. He plays like an average of 120 games a season, and that's taking into account like all the seasons where he's played like 80 games because of injury. and then you're trying to say that guy's track record of heating up later in the season is more pronounced and reliable than Jose Abreu's track record of heating up later in the season. I'm done.
Like by month, Carrie and I talked about this last week, and by month. Even Abreu has been solid in May throughout his career.
Yes.
So that was my issue. It was like we were in mid-May, and I was like, okay, I'm still not seeing what I want to see from Jose Abreu. I mean, look at his numbers right now. He's like at an OPS plus of like 85. Okay. Not what you want out of your slugging first baseman.
He has slumps.
And
he does.
His
I'm not going to deny.
Defense has been spotty this year, unlike the last couple years.
He has had a couple mishaps.
But like I said, there's things. That's why I'm lumping him back into this and saying, you know what, there are things that I'm liking, that I'm seeing now. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a little bit more that I like. Especially not as much hitting it on the ground. That is the key. Ground ball percentage, keeping that ground ball percentage down.
Well, Frank Menechino loves ground balls, actually.
Fuck it, hit 300. And I got to give you credit for this, Tom.
Thank you.
John,
I don't even know what it is.
You don't even know what I'm going to say? For being an absolute... No, I'm kidding. Johnny Cueto. Johnny Cueto's first start in a White Sox uniform was fantastic.
And he got an ESPN article written about him.
Yes, so absolutely.
Jeff Passan's taking notice of the man, the myth, the legend.
Was this the article that referenced the ambulance?
The ambulance that he purchased and put,
please talk about this ambulance because it's absolutely incredible.
Well, the first time I saw it was in a live video that he posted, which his live videos, look, if you can get onto the live videos while they're happening on Instagram that Johnny Cueto does, usually they're in the off season, but they're phenomenal because it's usually either him riding a horse in the middle of a Dominican Republic city. It's amazing. Or he's popping the trunk of his ambulance that is just, it's got, what was it, 36 speakers on it?
Oh, yes.
And it
might be more than that.
And apparently Raylo and him are friends in the offseason. Cool. Didn't know that. But Raylo is quoted saying like, oh yeah, I have like been sitting in his pool, and then he'll pull the ambulance up and open the doors and start playing his music, and the water in the pool starts shaking because it's literally the most speakers you could pack into a portable ambulance. Fuck. I mean, the man he's a mystery,
absolutely.
He's a goddamn mystery and a legend. And I'm so happy he's in the White Sox uniform. Not going to say he's going to be a long tenured White Sox. Not going to say that he's the solution, but I am going to say, love to see it. Absolutely love to see it.
And I'll say this, he might be a solution to a back end starter problem right now, because one thing that's been extremely frustrating has been the performance of Dallas Keuchel. Not awesome.
Grand slam.
And our guy, Vince Velasquez, as much as I loved that start that I saw, that Saturday afternoon game against the Angels at the end of April, his stuff has not looked good at all since.
It made for a good story. It made for a nice like little headline where he's like, oh, I didn't want to get off the mound. I want to face, Mike Trout. And like, that's cute, but it's just not, he's got to be in a swingman role. There's nothing. He shouldn't be a regular rotation piece, full stop.
1,000%. So, but Johnny Cueto, keep holding it down, man. Eat those. I want him to be that inning eater this year, man. Hector Santiago style.
Don't demote Johnny Cueto to Hector Santiago status. Come on. I mean, I love Hector Santiago.
I was going to say, you were a big Hector Santiago
Don't get me wrong.
He was pretty solid in a Sox uniform.
Johnny Cueto is 100% a starting piece. Like, he's one of your five guys, at least until he's shown otherwise.
Right.
Man's a hoss. He's just a hoss.
Would love to see him continue to power through the year. And I'm not saying he's going to start a playoff game, but
that'd be a problem.
If he can continue to hold it down during the regular season and give us, honestly, a 4 ERA season, I would be ecstatic.
God. Dude, that would be amazing. And you're looking at it and saying, we don't need an ace, right? We've got aces. We need guys. We just need representable major league pitching, and Johnny Cueto is the fucking guy for that.
Especially once Lance Lynn comes back, man. I
mean,
mean,
you just don't you don't need Dallas.
That playoff four is set for you already.
Yep.
So that's why I'm saying, if anything, move Keuchel to the bullpen or fire him to the fucking sun with Menachino, please. What we've talked a lot about, or we talked a little bit, I should say, not a ton, but we've alluded to the Kansas City series. Let's talk more about this Yankees series that's happening right now. Friday got rained out in New York, which apparently the rain wasn't even that bad. Kind of like I had a track meet on Saturday here in Chicago. Yeah. Saturday morning, they were like, "Oh no, rain! We got to call it off. We got to call it off Friday morning because of the rain." It drizzled.
Yeah.
No. So now they're gonna probably schedule it on a Thursday night or something, so I can't go to the Red Sox game at home on this upcoming Thursday. They better not schedule it, over the weekend because I need my weekends, folks. But
you do.
Yankees series here. We are 1-4 against the Yankees this year, Tom. We were 1-5 against them last year.
Exactly.
You freaking out?
There's teams that just have your number, right? And it's just the way that kind of baseball is. There was the Houston Astros have historically kind of had our number, but you look at
last year.
Yeah. Well, you look at though against the Rays, who are one of the best teams in baseball, we always play them well. We just always seem to have a good series against them, and it's just the way baseball is. I just don't think we match up well against the Yankees. I don't know what it is because their pitching's not that great, but they always mash against us. Speaking of mashing, though, DJ LeMahieu, that shouldn't have counted. Like that grand slam.
Oh, baby. You want to go there?
It was.
I got a bone to pick, ladies and gentlemen. You already know. I got a big bone to pick here with Yankee Stadium dimensions. That ball does not go out in 29 of 30 ballparks. Unicorn style, baby. It is the only ballpark where that ball leaves the ballpark. And, here's the thing, too. Engel was there at the wall to catch it. It's not like it was like one of those hit on a rope. He wasn't fast enough to get there. He was ready to read it, right? That short porch and right is just absolutely ridiculous. And I know both teams can play to that advantage.
Right.
But the White Sox don't have power left. Like they have one power lefty, and it's Gavin Sheets and his booty butt cheeks.
Yeah.
So here, I'm going to advocate for this. I know this is crazy. And I know here's the thing, too. People say, White Sox lost by 2. Higgy almost had that home run to center. That would have been out at guaranteed rate. Fine, whatever. Play the run differential game. The White Sox still win.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I am an advocate for ballparks needing to have left center, right within a certain range. Bless you. I'm not sure if everybody needs to have the exact same.
Right.
Every ballpark shouldn't be necessarily 340 to the corners, 380 to the gaps, 405 to straightaway center. But it needs to be within like a, 10, 15 foot range.
It's got to be reasonable.
Right?
Yeah.
The short porch and right at Yankee Stadium is just stupid.
Yeah.
It absolutely makes zero sense. It's archaic. It's dumb. New ballparks that are being built don't have dimensions like this.
Well,
I don't care if it's unique.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And it messes with the game.
It messes with the game. And it's not even like a fairness thing because, again, both teams get the advantage there. But it's just like it's not equal across ballparks. And it's like less entertaining, in my opinion. And like a Yankee fan probably disagrees, but it's less entertaining because it's like that's a 340-foot like fly ball everywhere else. Like that's barely warning track. It's probably not even warning track.
It's on the edge of the warning track at guaranteed rate.
And it's like, okay, that's a home run now. Like fantastic. And I agree with you though. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not advocating for every ballpark to be exactly the same because look, like for whatever, there's no rhyme or reason for it. I guess the wind, but for some reason, like the right field side of guaranteed rate, just the balls fly out there.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So a tad bit shorter and usually the wind and the way in which the ballpark's built, you get that
little tunnel,
trajectory.
Yeah. Whatever is about that. So I get like that. Okay. You could argue we have the same problem at guaranteed rate field, technically with the shorter right field, but you just got to be a little bit reasonable about it. The thing that really pisses me off is that they had the opportunity to fix because they rebuilt Yankee Stadium.
Absolutely.
Like
Late 2000s.
So you had the opportunity to be like, oh, we clearly have an issue with the right field fence. Let's push that back to make it like an honest ballpark. And then they were just like, no, fuck it. Short porch again. Like there was no reason for it. There's no reason for it. They should pull a Baltimore and just be like, fuck those seats, pushing it back.
Yeah, and the high wall in Baltimore, I don't necessarily agree with either. I think that has been atrocious, especially with the dead ball this year.
Oh yeah, they fucked over their team
in that ballpark. But
it basically was a countermeasure to the Yankees though. Like the Yankees used to hit bombs out there, like it was stupid games that they'd be winning like 16-2. And now Baltimore's been playing it tough against some of these opponents. Like they took the Rays.
They got a little bit of talent.
You know,
I've been trying to tell you that for the last year or so.
Cedric Mullins.
Cedric, man. That's
the only
dog.
He's got the dog.
And they just called up Adley Rutschman.
He did. I mean, that was kind of despicable that he hadn't been called up yet.
Yeah, but we can talk about service time another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just my bone to pick, and I know it's a minor thing, but it's really freaking frustrating to watch, especially when, you know, obviously Dallas Keuchel shouldn't be giving up a ball that's hit that far, but
he shouldn't have had the bases loaded.
That's an out in 29 out of 30 ballparks. Come on, folks.
Yeah, it's really DJ LeMahieu has power like that. No thanks. Like he's not a threat for a grand slam 20 times out of 100. Wait, right. 20 times out of 25. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But okay. There's an elephant in the room, and I got a bone to pick. So
I know where this is going.
Yeah, look, we've never liked Josh Donaldson.
Nope.
We've never been shy about it, and he's given us no reason to like him. Okay. He had a bit of a spat, we'll call it, with Tim Anderson that led to words exchanged, which led to more words exchanged with Yasmani Grandal, which is, I mean, look, I never shit talk Yasmani Grandal again. Don't be saying that, oh, he's not producing enough because he's the highest paid player on the team. He stood up for the team in a big way. He didn't even let Josh Donaldson get in the fucking box. He was
showed some true leadership there.
And he's like, look, you're not going to be able to just say that shit and walk away. No, okay, what did he say? He called Tim Anderson Jackie, as in Jackie Robinson. If you don't realize how inappropriate that is on face value, you need to get in some kind of like thank you, Greg Miller, with the Donaldson fact in the chat. It's just, you're looking out here and you're trying to defend. You see a lot of Yankees fans trying to defend Josh Donaldson or save face and say that Tim Anderson's a fake tough guy or whatever. Like, it's just, we're not at that stage. Look, like, listen to what he said and realize that was some fucking bullshit. You cannot say stuff like that. You can't. And James Fegan has actually an amazing article out about this, because he really hit the nail on the head, where it's like, okay, so Josh Donaldson's defense of himself was, okay, we had this article come out in 2019. By the way, that's over 3 years old. And that means that I can say whatever is in the article back to Tim, and it's an inside joke of sorts. And it's like, look, you ain't got no inside jokes with the White Sox. The White Sox all hate you, and for good reason. There's been like 3 different incidents that caused like on-field drama and outside. And like, he tried to come up to Lucas Giolito in the parking lot as a twin. Like, no, you don't get to walk up here and pretend like you have this jovial like background with this team when you've been the center of problems across. It doesn't matter what team you play for. Nobody likes you. It's like that Adam Eaton thing. Nobody like you. Like, nobody on this team likes you. Don't pretend like you're trying to lessen tensions by saying something fucking racist, bro. Like, it was beyond. Okay. Like, absolutely uncomfortable. I kind of took this like into more of a Minoso minute range here, but I'm gonna cede the floor, because that was my, like, he's absolutely my bone to pick. Like, I have never liked Josh Donaldson, and I like him way like I jokingly didn't like him before. Now I actually like that guy's got to go. Like if there's not suspensions that are coming down on his head, I don't know what to say about the MLB.
It's highly inappropriate, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna call out the MLB here. It's time to take action. You know, that there's no place for that in baseball. Period. End of discussion. I don't need to explain why there's no place for that in baseball. And even if your intentions were not to play on Tim's race,
right?
Anybody with a functioning brain should know that that is never a positive comment.
No.
Or one that is appropriate in any way, shape, or form. I have to come back to something that we've talked about too in calling out Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, the commissioner's office, whoever's working there. The NFL, the NBA, the NHL, the three other major sports, major professional sports, male professional sports in leagues in America have all done such a better job over the past few years of making sure that players of color feel that they are welcomed in the sport, to feel like they are not being targeted, to feel like they are not just an anomaly.
Right.
The NFL with their End Racism campaign, the NBA with the name, the whatever they wanted on the back of their jerseys during quarantine,
and Black
right?
Lives Matter on the court.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter on the court. The NHL, hockey is for everyone, right? Where's the MLB's campaign? It's time to step up. It's time to actually make a statement. If you're not going to do anything about the Donaldson situation, if you're not going to suspend him, do something as a league.
Damn right. Wow. That's yes. Just full stop. Yes, I completely agree. And look, I think that something that came up for me as you were saying that is like, you know, a lot of people talk about what was his intention. Did he mean to be racist? It's like, doesn't fucking matter if you meant to be racist. You were. And there's a big conversation around intention versus impact. What did you intend to say doesn't necessarily matter if the impact was a problem. And I mean, Josh Donaldson technically said, I'm sorry. But what he said was, you know, if he took it that way, then I'm sorry, which is not good enough. That's not good enough. You have to know the impact of your words. Like, I mean, look, like, let's be frank. This is two white guys on two mics right now, but you have to understand what you say matters. Okay. And like, if you can't take ownership over your mistakes, it's that much more of a problem. So I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking sick of Josh Donaldson. I like, bring on the Donaldson facts, fucking drag this man, make fun of him left and right because he deserves it. Like, this guy doesn't give a shit. And he shows it on the way that he plays and the way that he talks to other teams in the league. And he's absolutely brainless if he thinks that he's like chill with the White Sox. Nobody on the White Sox.
Or if that comment was chill.
That comment was, yes.
That's not something that you don't joke like that. That was targeted.
It was, yeah.
So,
and if you can't see that it's targeted, get a fucking therapist, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Well, there's another thing that happened outside the lines of baseball. And so we'll take a quick minute here, Minoso minute, with something that we do when, you know, something happens outside the lines of baseball.
Yep.
In honor of Mini Minoso here. So there was a AAA manager with the Charlotte Knights, Mr.
Wes Helms.
Yeah, he was involved in the controversy around Omar Vizquel. And Omar Vizquel was, you know, a manager of the Birmingham Barons, and everybody was real excited about him coming up. And then all of a sudden he got canned, and we were all like, okay, what happened? From the outside looking in, there was a lawsuit that he sexually assaulted an autistic bat boy, for the team. Now Wes Helms was named in that lawsuit, and that kind of has come up now. And, you know, again, ongoing lawsuit. This is allegedly, however, the one thing that's clear is that Wes Helms is in charge of a toxic work environment. You know, he was the bench coach at the time, and has been promoted through up to manager of the AAA ball club for the White Sox organization. Now, it's tough for me to sit back and think like, okay, he was a bench coach during the time that this shit went down. Then the White Sox went ahead and, gave him a raise and like a more important position. That's tough. That's a tough look. So I'm kind of like disappointed almost that this didn't come up sooner or was addressed sooner, or that like how you gonna actually give this guy a more important position in the organization. Like, that's a tough look. So in total, like, I want to see how it plays out, obviously, but I think that the only thing I have to say about it is good riddance. Like, we don't need these guys in our organization.
Yep.
There's
absolutely.
Plenty of coaches. Fucking hire Rick Renteria. Rick Renteria is out here just chilling, waiting for a job. He wouldn't take a AAA position, I don't think. But look, there's no space in baseball for all this toxicity that's been happening around the ball club recently. One of them being Josh Donaldson, this Wes Helms shit.
Well, as a Chicago sports franchise, Tom, shouldn't the White Sox have learned their lesson? Shouldn't the White Sox have looked upon the team, one of the teams that plays at, Madison and Damon, basically, at the Madhouse, the team that plays on ice?
You'd think they would have known.
Should have figured out their shit and, tried to sweep it underneath the rug, and did so very unsuccessfully. And thank God for things coming to light.
Right.
Whatever comes to light of this situation, right now I'm frustrated with the White Sox organization. And it's disgusting how long they waited to dismiss Wes Helms in his current position.
Years and years. Yeah.
So whatever comes to light in this situation, if it's incriminating on this front office, I hope everybody pays the consequences for it.
Yeah, I mean, whether
this was a one-time incident, whether this has happened multiple times, it's disgusting. Will this be? And here's the thing: if something happens, I don't know if it will, but if something happens where Rick Hahn is involved in any way, shape, or form,
or looked the other way, or whatever
in this situation, dismiss him. We'll have to rebrand ourselves as a podcast.
Yeah, we will do that swiftly.
So it's just, it's not just a horrible look. It's just we need to do better as a sport and as an organization in making sure these things don't happen. And when they do happen, swift, decisive action is taken.
Yeah, I think that's what's tough is like as soon as this bat boy like stopped showing up for work, there should have been consequences. Like, what happened? Where's the investigation? And it took a lawsuit being processed through the EEOC that this is now a problem all of a sudden. It's like unbelievable. Actually unbelievable. And again, unionize the miners while we're at it, because the miners are already underpaid. Anyway, whole different discussion, but a lot of ugly looks right now in baseball, and it's a lot of it centered around your Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, not great. Tom, on a lighter note.
Oh yes, let's reel it in really quick. Let's reel it in. Okay, so Tony Larussa,
everybody's favorite.
Although I will say, oldest guy in the ballpark, in the dugouts, right, was also a person that said, "Yeah, what you said, Josh Donaldson."
Yeah, kudos to Tony. I know the Your Mean Mercedes situation last year, where he was like, "Oh yeah, if they throw at the guy, whatever. If they throw at your mean, whatever."
Yeah,
like. That's not the right response at all, Tony. That's the way you lose your locker room. Way to step in, even in your old mindset and probably the way in which you think, like understanding.
Yeah.
At least, whether that's what he truly believes or not.
He saw it.
He said the right thing. He absolutely said the right thing.
And I believe that. I believe that he believes it, right? Like,
I don't think Tony's one to bullshit the media.
Yeah. So if he's willing to step up to the mic and say, like, Josh Donaldson said something racist to my team, I'm not going to have any further comment. Like, that's enough is said right there. Proud of him. Now, back to the lighter note that we were talking about.
Yes.
Tony Larussa. He has a fancy for the
The Sunday specials. I like to call them the Tony Sunday special, baby.
Oh, the punting of series, the punting of games, especially early on before Memorial Day, where he's just like, you know what? Who is at the bottom of the barrel of this lineup? Let's throw him on the field and see what happens. It's a specialty. It's Tony does it better than anyone else. I'll tell you what. And it was this. It's been the talk of the town too. I mean, the second game of that doubleheader in Kansas City, where we had the opportunity to sweep a doubleheader, and we alluded to it earlier, where it's like you had the chance to take 4 or 5. You had the chance to really make a statement and stomp on some throats.
But let's bench our best hitter.
Yeah, let's bench him.
The guy who plays lead off.
Yeah. Tim Anderson, you've been doing great.
Plug.
Yeah. We don't really need you though. We'll win without you here. No, you won't. Like not now the way the rest of the lineup is performing.
Yeah.
And they scored 1 fucking run. So there you go. That's your lineup there,
Bad.
Tony. That was good. Usually not a huge complainer about lineups. Usually kind of a guy who thinks, managers don't matter much. But I have been complaining about shitty getaway day lineups since 2020, since we had this guy. Like he is known for doing this. And
absolutely.
There's partial credit to resting your guys, but look, these games still matter. There's got to be a craftier way to do it than to throw out the dumpster fire of a lineup that you did.
I'll tell you what, a lot of the complaining comes around the batting order too.
Yeah.
And, there are some schools of baseball thought that tell us that batting order really doesn't matter that much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll get to that in a little bit. I know you have a little segment that you want to, in honor of
exactly.
Tony's Sunday specials.
So yes, exactly. In honor of the Sunday special, the Tony get out of town lineup, the Tony special, we've concocted our own special Tony lineups that we think that he'd be proud of these. So This is our, White Sox history. And this is the thing. The rules are you can pick any player since we've been a podcast.
Yes. So we became a podcast at the end of 2018. So we're taking 2018 to present.
Those are the players that we're allowed to choose from. That's the pool of players we're choosing from, and we're creating our very special
Tony Sunday
special lineup for you guys. Now, again, these names are meant to make you shudder because that's what the Sunday special does for us. So for me, we're gonna take it. And by the way, another rule: you have to use all the positions on the field, which makes it a little harder. Now. Here we go.
Let's get it. Who it?
So, batting leadoff for me on my Tony Sunday special lineup is the one, the only Leary Legend. And of course, we got him playing shortstop because look, you got to have an anchor playing leadoff for you, and that's Leary Legend. If there's nothing I can count on more, it's Leary Legend playing on Sundays. So we've had it for the last since 2015. Leary Legend, he plays Sundays.
3 different managers, folks.
They love this guy. I gotta think that Kenny Williams is the one who's trying to tell them, like, you gotta play this guy. I love him. He's got that dog. Anyway, so Leary Legend, he's batting leadoff for me. You're damn straight. Now, batting second, because, you got to give him as many at-bats as possible. That's our catcher, Sebi Zavala, okay? I want to see another 3 home run game out of this guy. We're going to milk him for everything he's worth. He's already, he's got a ball and a bat in Cooperstown. That's a big deal.
There you go.
That's a big deal. The only rookie to hit 3 home runs in one game, that's a big deal. So, batting third, and this is, again, a lot of people had a conversation about how they didn't like how Tony did this, but I'll tell you what. It's a Sunday special. You got to put Nick Williams out there. Batting third, playing left field. It's a big deal. It's a gentleman's thing. That's what a lot of the conversation was around Nick Williams. He was like a veteran, and Tony was giving him the mixtape that he needs to get his next contract, and it's kind of nice of Tony to put him in the lineup.
Tommy putting air quotes over all this, by the way, in person, in case you're not watching.
That's some fucking bullshit. Nick Williams, you can go play in the quadruple A teams like, the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Orioles or something. No offense to those teams, but all offense to those teams as well. So batting fourth, the Astros king himself, and DHing for us, AJ Reed. Yeah, I think that was more of the Astros thought he was a good prospect, so he must be good at something, right? Wrong, he sucked. But he's batting fourth for Tony's team, That's for damn sure. And that's why it didn't he bat cleanup for us in his like
he
2 games?
probably had at least 1 appearance in the 4 or 5 slot that year.
Not good.
Yikes. 2018 was pain.
But you know what saves us from
2019 too.
What saves us from that pain is our 5-hitter. Danny Mendick, still on the team, part of the 26-man. And he's playing third base for me in this lineup. I'll tell you what, I can count on him. And again, like you got to have some vets in the lineup. You got to mix them in, make sure that they're getting their at bats. Jesus Christ, this is terrible. Holy shit.
You
Okay,
having fun with this one, Tom?
this is terrible. Actually, I thought I was gonna have fun, but this is actually miserable. Okay, so this is where we start to kind of like round it out a little bit, make this lineup a little bit more representable. And what we do is we put Josh Harrison at second base. That's going to fix this. That's going to fix it. Because, there is always that like one starter that you're like, oh, okay, so Tony's not totally fucking
You putting
around.
an actual starter.
Yeah,
Okay.
one actual starter. And he's and it's also the one actual starter that people are still turning their nose up to. So, but that is.
He's gotten better since the beginning of the year.
Hey, I truly wanted to mimic Tony's style with this. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Now, the next 7-hitter for me is Gavin Sheets. Playing first base, his natural position. Oh, god damn it. That guy needs to fucking trade bait, like everybody says. We can get Frankie Montes for
that'll
straight
work
up
out well.
for Gavin Sheets.
Not sure about that one.
But the real reason that these next 2 guys are in here are because these are the 2 names that make me think we've got a hole in right field, and they'll always embody that for me. And it's Charlie Tilson and Ryan Cordell rounding up my lineup.
Beautiful.
And those 2 names are they just bring me back to just miserable times in Cleveland.
I think what's
I don't know
funny
what
about
it is.
your lineup construction here too is that you put Tilson in right and Cordell in center.
Doesn't fucking matter. I mean, yes, you should technically flip them, but look, neither of them are playing baseball anymore, and that's all right.
Charlie Tilson's playing baseball.
Is he really?
For the Chicago Dogs. I'm glad you got a good laugh out of that one. All right. Your starting pitcher.
Starting pitcher,
on your
Vinny
Sunday.
Velo. Vinny Velo. This
Okay.
is my Sunday getaway lineup. I know Tony would be
right.
proud. I just
You
know it.
the problem is you plugged in a lot of modern or current White Sox players, 2022 roster players here, which makes me worried for this current team. All right.
True.
I kept mine really
It's true.
throwback, so I'll go through it quick. And I don't have a batting order. I'm just telling you who's playing what position around the diamond. Starting pitching, we'll stay on that topic first. Dylan Covey, baby. I gotta take the guy. If I'm gonna put a Sunday special lineup all together, I gotta put the guy out on the mound who outdueled Chris Sale. Come on now. Who else is more fitting? All right.
Miserable.
At catcher, Tommy's all-time favorite White Sox, Wellington Castillo. At first base,
Just give him steroids.
another legend in Tommy's book because he saw this guy hit a
four game?
walk-off single against the Baltimore Orioles in 2019. Yonder Alonso.
He played good whenever I was there, I'll tell you.
Second base, a true team player, Jose Rondon. Batting fourth, I couldn't pass on putting Larry Legend at short. Come on. That is the specialty right there. It's the one we have in common, Tom. Third base. Don't forget this guy played third base before becoming a Gold Glove second baseman. Yomer Sanchez. Nicky Delmonico in left.
You're killing me.
Ryan Lamar in center.
You're killing me.
Trace Thompson, not Clay Thompson, in right. Last but not least, you got to round it out with a DH, even if you're at an NL park now. So Matt Davidson, baby.
He can pitch.
And he can
later in the
pitch.
game.
If you need
He
to
can pitch
swap
later in
him
the
to
game.
pitch, you absolutely can do that. There you go.
Before there was Brett Phillips, there was Matt Davidson.
Absolutely, baby.
Oh my God.
Pain. Now, I know a lot of the conversation around Tony La Russa's decisions in the lineup have been around batting order. And as I said before, there are some schools of thought that say, hey, batting order really doesn't matter that much. And in all honesty, when guys are hitting,
Right.
it really doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
In which, ideally, yes.
When guys are hitting.
Right now, the White Sox lineup all around is just not, with the exception of Luis and TA, they've been spotty at best.
Yep.
Right. So I wanted to bring up an old segment that we got. We got a segment that we do from time to time here called He Said It, right? Where we take a quote from somebody that's on the team or in the organization and talk about its impact. Okay. Our guy, Tony La Russa, wanted to defend his decision on batting Andrew Vaughn who came, off of injury. He's kind of been slow coming off of injury as well.
Exactly.
He was red hot, got injured by taking that pitch in the hand on that Friday night game against Boston.
Such a bummer.
But TLR on Andrew Vaughn batting ninth. This is a Vinny Duber quote, a.k.a. Alice Cheesy Beef. He says, the second leadoff man is a reality. He hits right in front of your best hitters. If you've got guys batting 250, 270, and 300, nice batting averages there, Tony. A lot of managers, including myself, put the 300 guy ninth. He isn't the ninth best hitter on our team. Even if he isn't the ninth best hitter on your team, there's zero reason why why is Andrew Vaughn batting ninth in your lineup when he isn't the ninth best hitter on your team, when he was raking, when he was doing well outside of the 9 spot? It's one thing to shake things up. It's another thing to just absolutely say, oh, you had one bad game, I'm dropping you down to 9, right? Please, Tony, dude, this is archaic thinking, right? This isn't 1930s baseball. Go ahead, Tom. You want to clap back at this for some reason.
Look. Well, okay. So the classic baseball mindset, right, says that you want a guy in the end of the lineup that can wrap it back around hand it off to the top of your lineup. It's kind of like, when the NL had, your 8 hitter was important because you wanted your 8 hitter to get on base so that you couldn't lead off the next inning with your pitcher. So these, that's passe, obviously, because there's no more pitchers in baseball. Thank the Lord. But I think that
pitchers hitting in baseball.
Pitchers hitting. Yeah,
there are pitchers in baseball.
No more pitchers hitting in baseball. But I think you got to give it a little bit. I think where you really hide guys in the lineup is 7 and 8. Those two don't matter. They don't appear as much, and they're not table setters. That's the term, right? Table setters for the top of your order. And I'm putting it to you this way. This is how I really want to drive the point home, is that Tim Anderson leading off, if he's getting a lot of hits, right? And we know this, and he's not driving in runs. Now, how do you take those hits and turn them into runs? It's you put somebody at the 9 hole or in the 8 hole, whatever, and get those guys on base for TA to then drive in instead of just hitting and getting on base and then not being pushed in.
I mean, you said it yourself. 7 and 8 are not table setters, but they're guys that you need solid in your lineup. You tuck them in there. That's Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn is that guy.
I was saying you're hiding guys when you put them in the 7 and 8 hole. You're making them. That's where you get the least at bats.
You get the least at bats in the 9 spot. That's the whole idea about the 9 spot. The 9th guy usually gets the least at bats. 7 and 8 might not get as many at bats as well, but 7's always going to get more at bats than 9.
Probably.
Most likely, right? This is ridiculous.
I'm just saying you have to, when you are struggling the way that you are, you have to put your best players in the position to drive in runs, and that's Tim Anderson, and he's not moving out of the leadoff spot.
I was gonna say we got a comment here from Greg Miller, who's been with us throughout this entire live show. Thank you, Greg, for tuning in. He says, "Can we have an honest discussion about TA being a number 2 or 3?"
Now, that's interesting because I think there is that he's the only guy who's really producing in Luis Robert. He's the only one who's been consistently producing this early in the season. So if you want to move him to be in a position where he's able to drive in runs, get those RBIs, which RBIs matter. Fuck you guys. RBIs matter.
What's an RBIs? I know what an RBI is. Runs batted in, not runs batted ins.
You can abbreviate. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to murder you. I'm going to murder you. First of all, if it's you, it's RBEs because it's innings. So now, anyway, there is a conversation here though. If you drop Tim to be behind other guys who are let's say, fuck it, nobody's getting on base and scoring runs here. You put Luis as your leadoff and Tim can drive him in or whatever. Or you put fucking Andrew Vaughn first, then you have Luis, and then you have Tim Anderson in the 2 hole pushing him over, and then Luis Robert for the 3-run home run. Hey, then now you're cooking with gas. I don't see an issue with that.
Here's the thing. You want a high on base guy in your leadoff spot. So that's what I'm going to say about this comment. You want a high on base guy right now. the White Sox really don't have any super high on base guys that can lead off an inning and
Right.
get you going. If, for example, Luis was as developed and had more of an eye at the plate like Ronald Acuna, I would love Luis to be batting first. However,
Get those walks, yeah.
Tim gets the way Tim hits, it makes
Right.
up for the walks he doesn't get.
Yes.
So Tim needs to be that leadoff guy. He needs to be that table setter. He's the guy that you want, regardless, to get the most at-bats on your team right now.
Yeah.
If Luis starts popping off numbers like he's capable of, if he's hitting 300, he's getting on base at a 350 clip, and he's hitting balls to the gap, yeah, sure. Let's start when he starts putting up Acuna type numbers at the plate. If he ever does, I think it'd be a phenomenal thing. And he's been said to have that kind of potential. Then maybe we do have this discussion. But there's no one else that you can slot right now in that one spot. If the White Sox had a lineup like the Atlanta Braves from top to bottom, if everybody's producing the way they do, then maybe we do have this discussion about Luis being 1 and Tim being 2, but Tim is an ideal 2-hitter and a really good lineup. But right now, for the White Sox, he is the perfect 1 guy. You don't mess with it. Just like Andrew Vaughn and his fall off, you don't fuck around with it. Don't bat him 8 or 9.
I mean, you could bet him. Okay, I'll back off of defending
maybe 8,
TLR at 9. But I will put it to you this way. I don't think you fuck with Tim Anderson batting leadoff. I mean, that's the one thing that's been working for the team. I think that's what we should stick with. Like, and it's more for a psyche thing than it is for a, actual statistical reasoning, right? Like, you can argue statistically that it might make sense to move him because he's actually getting hits and he could be driving in runs if there were guys on base in front of him. However, he likes to lead the game off. He likes to be the guy with the bat in his hand, to start the game. And I wouldn't take it away from him.
And who else is getting on base consistently in front of him?
Fucking, yeah.
Right.
Who are you going to put in? Who could you put in front of him? Pretty much nobody. But I'd say don't fuck with it. You want to just do. Speaking of Yuan, you want Yuan to be batting 2 when he's best, and being able to get either a walk after a hit from TA. Like the absolute perfect inning for the White Sox would be TA gets a hit, Yuan gets on base, whether it's a hit or a walk, and then Jose Abreu knocks them all in.
Oh, so you're still talking about Jose in the 3 spot? Huh?
Jose is in the 3 spot for the rest of the goddamn eternity of this White Sox organization. I swear to God, do not ever. I want him in his casket up there batting 3rd. I swear to God, Steve, give him a lifetime contract.
4 spot, baby. Absolutely going with the 4 spot for Jose.
Well, then you're taking away the opportunity from either Eloy when he's healthy or Luis Robert to be batting 4 and cleaning up everything. Just sending them all home with a home run or whatever.
Eloy's more of a 5 guy anyway, in my opinion. So that's what I'm saying. You want Luis is that 3 guy for me right now.
But when it comes down to it, lineups don't matter anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as much as we want it. And you want to argue for Abreu in the 3 spot, but you wanted to rub yesterday in my face with that 3-run bomb. Where was he batting in the lineup, Tom?
Never take him out of the 3.
4th, baby.
Never take him out of the 3 hole.
All right, Tom.
Die on that hill.
We're getting close to an hour here. Shall we wrap this thing up?
I think so. Well, do you have any final thoughts first and foremost?
You know what? I was going to ask you this, but I'm just going to say it right off the bat, and then I'll ask you the question. Right now, in my mind, the White Sox need to win one of these 2 games on Sunday.
Fuck it. They need to sweep these games, bro.
In order for me, here's the thing. Yesterday's game was frustrating because the pitching fell apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you give up that grand slam, and it's a game that you knew, you scored 5 runs against Cortez and the Yankees bullpen. You absolutely could have won this game.
Right.
Now, you got to come back and you got to win at least one of these next 2. So, Tom, are you frustrated then if they don't win these next 2?
I am frustrated. I am. I mean, look, you're looking at the team, and it's the fucking same thing as last year, where the Yankees, we get one good win out of our season series against the Yankees. I don't want that to be the story again. I want there to be a resounding, like, is sweeping a doubleheader. That would put us at 3-4 against them on the season.
That's big against a really good team. That's
huge. They're the best team in the
best
MLB
team in baseball.
Right now.
Best team in baseball, and they are hot.
And if you could take 3 out of 4 on the season series from them, you're walking home happy as a fucking clam, and you'd be back over 500. So that's really what my aim is for the day. And you'd be sending a goddamn statement to not only Josh Donaldson, but the whole city of goddamn New York, who keeps going to bat for this jag-off. But I will say, though, I don't need it. I think 1 game out of these 2 is a must. 2 games out of this doubleheader is what I want. But yeah, 1 is a must. If you get swept in this doubleheader, oh man, I will cry myself to sleep.
It's going to be a very, especially if they don't come back home and really dominate, it's going to be a very angry podcast.
Yep.
Next weekend.
But look at this. We got pitching help.
Aaron Bummer coming back, baby. Thank you for reminding us, Greg, of that. Yeah, I think 2 would be amazing. If you can come and win 1 of these and say you have 1 close loss and 1 win, I would be content with that, especially if they roll back home and get the momentum going again, because they play a lot better than they do at home.
They do.
Or at home than they do on the road.
That's historically true, and I think that would definitely be. It'll be a welcome advantage. We need all the advantages we can get right now, the way this team is playing.
Yeah.
Oof. Rolling into Memorial Day, that's usually when you call it and say what your team really is. So we need to get hot before then. God damn it. And I think that just about does it for us. In Han, question mark? In Han, we trust.
Win a fucking series against the Yankees. We must. Let's get these 2 dubs. Cueto and Kopech on the mound. Hopefully back-to-back dubs and 1 on Sunday Night Baseball.
Ooh,
tonight.
That's right. Let's go, baby.
Don't forget national exposure. Peace. We'll see y'all next week.